guys, sorry I've been away for a while, but I'm back now. I'm going to do a Jesy Nelson look because I've been obsessed with her freckly look that's going around. Everyone's wearing freckles at the moment. It's like a massive trend and it's one I kind of actually like. Usually I'm kind of straying away from a lot of them, but that one I actually do quite like. So I'm going to do Jesy's look from an Instagram picture. It's actually this one here. You can see that. But I'm going to go from a pale mofo to glamorous AF, hopefully. So let's see how it goes. I'm just going to moisturise my skin with the Pond's. This is the Luminous Moisture Day Lotion with SPF 15, just to give me a nice dewy glow underneath my foundation. For my primer, I'm going to use the Benefit Professional, and on my nose I'm going to use License to Blot. I really like License to Blot on my nose just because that's the place I have the most pores and I get a little bit of like caking around here. Okay, for skin, Jesy quite obviously has darker skin than me, so I'm going to use my Illuminating Touch Foundation Collection because this oxidizes a little bit and will give me more of a warm finish. This is in number 1 Porcelain, which is obviously the lightest shade because I am pale as a ghost. So I'm going to use my sponge from Real Techniques. I'm just going to do 2.5 pumps because celebrity makeup looks usually really flawless. Patting it will give you more of a full coverage, where swiping is just good for like dispersing it. I often take my foundation over my eyelids as well because I tend these days not to use a primer. If I was to use a primer, it would be Urban Decay Primer Potion because it's just like my holy grail primer if I am to use a primer. But generally speaking these days I just use my face products. So I've zoomed you in a bit now to do my eyebrows. So this is the Eyelure Pomade and I really like this stuff actually. This is in like the blonde colour. Jesy has quite thin eyebrows, so I'm going to try and not go too thick with them, but obviously you can see my natural one's a little bit thicker than hers. So I'm actually quite happy with how those look. Nice thin tail and quite a high arch on her eyebrows. So under the eyebrows I want more of a light colour so that I've got something for a really good highlight to stick to because she's got quite a bright highlight in there. So I'm going to use my Rimmel Lasting Finish Concealer. This is also really good for sharpening if you make mistakes. So when I've got that on, I'm just going to use my sponge just to help blend that down at the edge. Okay, so on the eyes I'm going to use the Classic Nudes palette. This is from Physicians Formula and this has got 4 matte colours in and they're great for starting out with a nice brown smoky eye. On a nice fluffy brush I'm going to start with this one here, which is a nice warm medium brown, and take this just into the crease. Next I'm going to go into this colour here, which is a little bit more muted, not quite as warm. And her eye, kind of the shadow wings up a little bit, so we're going to start to create that shape. Now whatever's left on the brush I'm going to dust over the eyes, but I'm really not going to put too much on there just because she has a quite lightish shimmery colour just over the top, just to bring the eyes out. Before I go any further, I'm actually going to highlight my brow bones. I'm going to use Urban Decay Sin, which is one I use a lot, but it's just so perfect. Next I'm going to use this awesome palette from Morphe. It's the 350M, which is the matte version. Some of these ones, this brown here. I'm just going to use some of the warm orangey colours to just define this eye a little bit more. Deepen it out now, it's slightly ashier brown, so one like this would be quite perfect. I'm just going to go over it now with that brush that I did with the highlight, just again to soften the edge. There is a little bit of definition to it though on this wing, so don't overly blend it so there's not any shape left. Okay, I also noticed she's got a little bit of that darker colour just here, going quite up to the eyebrow actually, so that's gonna just help everything else. that's on the lid just pop a little bit more, and I kind of like that. I'm into that halo eye kind of look at the minute, so this kind of pleases me. So a little bit of that in there. Now I'm going to use the same palette, but this is the shimmer version of the Morphe 350, and it looks a bit like this. It's gorgeous. And the colour I want to use is kind of like a bit of a really light champagne-y, slightly rosy gold colour, so I'm going to go for this one here. Flash shader to put this on, just so that we can pack as much of that nice shimmer as we can. And so that's going to go on to here. That's perfect. That colour is perfect. So in that gap that we've got. So the next thing we're going to start to do is add the black. She's got quite a lot of black on the lash line and also on the waterline. So I'm going to use 24/7 liner from Urban Decay, this is in 0. I'm just going to line both the upper and lower waterlines, and what I do is I've done this trick before, but it makes it a lot easier because when you're tight lining it can be really, really tickly and quite uncomfortable. So I just put it in between both of the waterlines, shut my eyes and just go back and forth like that, and you can really aim it upwards or down depending how thick you want it and how much you want on, and I'm trying to get it in all those lashes. Okay, so I want to add a little bit of that along the top as well, right along those eyelashes, so I'm just going to wiggle that into my lashes. And you want to work relatively quickly with this, so I'm going to use a little brush to smudge that in. Over the top of that, just use your favourite black eyeshadow, and mine is Urban Decay Black Dog from the black palette, as I always use this one, and it's just amazing, and it's a matte, so you want a matte for this. And right up against those eyelashes, just gonna set that eyeliner and darken it and smoke it. Just use that in the outer corner. There we go. To add our final amount of depth. Underneath, I'm going to go again into this. I'm going to use this one, mix with this one, just, you know, create the colour that we're after, and just use that beneath that black. So now we're going to do I Wonder Eye Concealer, and it's going to clean everything up. We look a bit weird at the minute because we're super pale, we're not bronzed, but we're going to look like a glamorous Little Mix goddess. Probably not, but you can. I can't pull that off. Sponge. And this is the point where if you've made any mistakes, hers is a little bit sharper than mine, only slightly though. I've actually feel like I've done quite a good job on that shape. But if you've made any mistakes, you can just fix them with your sponge, and that's that. Simple. So next I'm going to use some mascara. This one's a Clinique High Impact Waterproof. Next is a new Holy Grail product of mine. This is the Clinique Bottom Lash Mascara. If you struggle with bottom lash mascaras, like I do, I always, if I'm using a regular mascara wand, it always gets underneath my eyes and looks a mess, no matter what I do, and I can never get it to build up how I want it and be as black. So this has got like the tiniest little wand on it, and I just use this on the lower lashes and it's perfect. And it's Clinique and they do the best mascara, so. I've got some false eyelashes that I want to use, but I don't know what they are. They're just in my drawer. I've already used them, so I'm sorry about that, but they're just quite voluminous, fluttery ones. They're not overly long, but they're not long. I don't know. They're a bit thicker than normal. I don't think my eyeliner is quite as black as I want, so I'm going to use the Kiko gel liner. It's so creamy. It's the first time I've used this. I've swatched it, that's it, but it's so creamy. To contour, I'm going to use more of a natural colour. This is a City Glow little palette thing in New York from Physicians Formula. I just like to mix them together. We are going to bronze up and become a little bit more orange as this goes on, but for now, I'm also going to do the nose because I have to do my nose. And I just like to add a little bit under the lip as well, just so the lip looks fuller. Add the warmth, we're going to use chocolate bronzer from Bourjois on a nice big brush. This is a Real Techniques cheek brush. Smells so good. Only of the high points, so the tops of the cheekbones, the nose, the forehead. For the blusher I'm going to use Candid Coral from e.l.f. She brings it quite far in, Okay, so I'm going to set my skin now in the areas I don't want stuff to move, so my nose, go around the edges here. I'm also going to set my under eyes. The powder I'm using is this one from Physicians Formula, by the way. Sorry about Enzo, I really am. And I'm also going to go under here to sharpen that edge a bit. So for my highlighter, I'm going to use Urban Decay Sin, same as what is on the brow bone. So now it's time to work on the freckles. So what I'm actually going to use for that is my archery pencil from Soap and Glory, and you get a little tip on here which makes little strokes for lines for in your brows, like little hairlines. So for hers, her freckles, she has tons of them on the nose, but they don't really spread anywhere else. They're literally just in this kind of area right here. So I'm going to add a load of those. Nor do you want them all to be perfect. I'm going to use MUA lip pencil in Caramel Nougat and line my lips and overline them like Jesy does. I don't have the perfect colour for this, so I'm just doing what I've got. Inside the lips I'm going to use, I think it's called Enchanted Topaz by Milani. And use a colour from Gosh, this is called Darling. Do you remember when everyone was obsessed with this lipstick? It's just a really light nude. I think we just need a little bit more depth around the edge, so I've got this colour from Wet n Wild called Willow. And this is the finished makeup look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!